Hello and welcome to Gradient's weekly roundup of key news and activities in the FMCG industry in Sri Lanka for the week ending 16th November 2021. I'm roshaanr and here are the top stories for this week. Budget 2022, significant focus on the agriculture sector whilst impact on end consumer is limited. Government promises essential foods at reasonable prices in the next 2 weeks. Central Bank says inflation to remain high over the next few months. Chinese company demands $8 million as ministry briefs inability to accept imported fertiliser. We will also take a look at the movement of key FMCG industry statistics and indicators and wrap up with notable corporate news that made it across to our news desk. In our top story this week, Finance Minister Basil Rajapaksa's budget presented on the 12th of November focused heavily on uplifting the agriculture sector in the country. Its key measures include a Green Agriculture Act to protect farmers' benefits, encouraging agro-entrepreneurship with agro-parks to be built and uncultivated land distributed among the youth, increase the capacity for organic fertiliser at Gradentalliance level, allocating an additional 5 billion and 10 billion rupees to promote organic agriculture and encouraging private investments in the plantation sector respectively. Moreover, 1 billion rupees is to be provided to further develop the dairy sector in the country. However, the budget proposals for the year 2022 appear to have a limited impact on the broad-end consumer, with the main proposal being the introduction of a special goods and services tax on telecommunication services, alcohol and tobacco, motor vehicles, and gaming and betting. Additionally, excise duty on cigarettes and alcohol were increased, thus the price of a cigarette rising by 5 rupees. And finally, in healthcare, the government is to support local manufacturers to produce medicines locally. The government stated that essential food would be made available at reasonable prices within the next 2 weeks, with imports being allowed to ease supply chain constraints. Following recent relaxation of the maximum retail price on several essential products, prices have significantly increased and the flow of stocks into the market have not been smooth. Lasantha Alagiyawana, State Minister of Cooperative Services, Marketing Development and Consumer Protection, acknowledging the hardships faced by the citizens, said that imports are being allowed to ease supply constraints and that availability of essential food items would be ensured through a competitive importation process. The Central Bank of Sri Lanka expects Sri Lanka's inflation to range between 8 to 9% in the next few months before declining. This range is higher than its 4 to 6% desired mark. The central bank noted that higher prices are due to adjustments in the retail market prices of select commodities from supply-side factors and elevated global commodity prices. It reiterated its commitment to maintaining headline inflation in the 4 to 6% range over the medium term, by what the central bank noted as taking preemptive measures as and when required. Professor Udit K. Jaisingh of the Agriculture Ministry, speaking to Daily Mirror, said that the Chinese embassy had been briefed that the fertilizer shipment from China could not be accepted due to legal reasons in the country. This follows a sample of the fertilizer from China's Qingdao Ximing Biotech Group being rejected by the National Plant Quarantine Services, having confirmed the presence of organisms, including certain types of harmful bacteria. The Chinese company disputed the detection, sending a letter of demand for $8 million as compensation from the NPQS director. In a late turn of events, the Chinese company shared an analysis report with the Sri Lankan media in which the Shuttered Global Inspection and Survey Company, a third-party testing organization selected by the Chinese company, had cleared its samples of any harmful bacteria. Let's now take a look at the movement of key industry statistics and indicators. As per the central bank, tea, rubber and coconut production continued to grow in the first 9 months of this year. During the period, tea production grew by 16.2% year-on-year to 234 million kilos, while rubber production increased 7.7% year-on-year to 61.3 million kilos. The number of coconuts harvested during the same period rose to 2.3 billion, up from 2.1 billion a year earlier. As per the central bank's informal private sector wage rate index, nominal wages among the private sector increased 12% year-on-year in September, with those employed in the industry sector seeing their salary rising 13.4% year-on-year. On the other hand, public sector wages were stagnant on a nominal basis, resulting in a decline of their real wages. The Budget 2022 proposed a new salary structure for state workers and outlined plans to increase their retirement age to 65 years. Import tax on maize was reduced to 1 rupee per kilo from 25 rupees per kilo. Maize is a key ingredient used in Triposha, a nutritional supplement used to enhance nutrition in children. Additionally, MRP on chicken and cement prices were relaxed. A 50 kg bag of cement now retails for between 1,275 and 1,375 rupees. And now let's take a look at the weekly movement of key FMCG sub-indices at the Colombo Stock Exchange. Here's how the rupee performed against the dollar this week. Moving on to corporate news, Subway announced plans to expand its footprint in Sri Lanka, India and Bangladesh by growing its 700 locations by threefold in 10 years. This is through a master franchise agreement with Everstone Group. According to John Chitsey, Chief Executive Officer at Subway, this is a significant step in the company's transformation journey and global expansion plans, and that Everstone is the ideal partner. The Ceylon Tobacco Company plc third quarter revenue fell to 31.7 billion rupees, down 28% year-on-year. This was due to the third wave of the COVID-19 pandemic in Sri Lanka, resulting in almost 2 months of restrictions in movements. Profit after tax declined to 3.8 billion rupees from 4.9 billion rupees a year earlier. CTC, being a significant tax contributor via excise and other levies, meant the government revenue was also impacted. Such levies declined by 30% year-on-year to 23.6 billion rupees in the third quarter and 7.4% to 72.3 billion in the first 9 months of 2021. Atman Group made a strategic investment in Taprobane Seafoods, a large integrated seafood company in Sri Lanka. According to Timothy O'Reilly, founder of Taprobane Seafoods, this investment will go forward transitioning Taprobane's shrimp ponds to circular tanks. This is slated to increase productivity and reduce energy use. Taprobane produces premium quality seafood products for brands such as Whole Foods USA. Atman Group has interest in hospitality, leisure, agriculture, real estate and renewable energy, and is a multi-family office based in Sri Lanka and Asia. And that's all the news we have for you this week. Our weekly business roundup is published each Friday at 7:30 a.m, so stay tuned for that. Until we'll see you next time, stay safe.